everybody, thank you so much for joining me today. I just really felt the need to do a little shop my stash type video. Wanted to dig into some things I haven't used in quite some time and see if I make any good or maybe not so good rediscoveries. I think this is a great way to know whether maybe it's time to declutter something or something needs to move its way into a more prominent position, you know, in the makeup rotation, I guess. Also, last night pretty shortly before bed, I had a blue raspberry blow pop, and yeah, even with brushed teeth, like, my tongue is still very stained. Amazing staying power, you guys. Well, anyway, I've gone through my drawers. I have picked out some things that I want to use here. So we're going to just start off with a primer. And this is my Bare Minerals Prime Time. It's my little SPF 30 primer, which I love. I think it's a great texture. It's actually pumping out a lot better than it used to. It used to kind of spurt out and almost seem a little bit dry. But this does have a tint to it. I have this in the shade medium, and this was recommended to me by one of my viewers who's very Bare Minerals savvy. Her name is Rachel, and I've really enjoyed this so much. In fact, I don't think there's a ton left in here, but I like the thought that even though I'm wearing SPF under my makeup, it gives me a little extra boost, and it is a mineral SPF. Now we're gonna move on to foundation. Which foundation did she pick? Well, I went with the L'Oreal Infallible Pro Glow. In case you're not familiar with this, it says radiant finish, normal to dry skin, and I have it in the shade Natural Beige. As I recall, this one seems to be a little more runny than the matte version, but we're gonna pop this on and kind of refresh our memory on what kind of coverage it gives. I feel like I remember it being pretty much a medium coverage foundation, you know? And I'm gonna just blend it in with a brush because I think I'll probably maximize the coverage that way. Yeah, it does have a little runniness to it. Get just a wee bit more down the cheek. And I've been pulling out my Real Techniques Expert Face Brush quite a bit. I believe this is a full-size brush head just on the mini handle. It came out around a holiday season. I feel like the last couple of Christmases they've put out their miniature sized brushes, so that's something to look out for around that time. Otherwise, if you're interested in this like type of brush, you can just buy the full size and still get the same experience I'm getting here. Yeah, this foundation is a little deeper than I was expecting, but the coverage is not too bad. It's kind of reminding me of the way that Light Wonder from Charlotte Tilbury was working out on me, you know? So it's getting to be back to school time, and this evening we have the open house to go to where you can just kind of like say hey to the teacher, let the kids see their classroom again. Since Belle turns 5 after the cutoff for kindergarten, she gets another year of pre-K, which I'm actually pretty excited about for her. I think it's going to be a really good year of growth for her. By the way, I'm thinking of posting an entire blog post with the story of how we dealt with difficult drop-offs and separation anxiety and things of that nature at the start of last school year. I feel like now would be a good time to write and post that. I say blog because I did journal it a little bit, and it might just be an easier way for people to look back on something and just read through. But I just have this hunch that it's not going to be the same this year. I mean, I won't be surprised if we start out with some little stuff like that again, but I feel like it's going to be more short-lived just because she knows so much more of what to expect. But anyway, open house tonight, so I'm going to keep the look kind of tame overall. But here's that foundation on, and it looks super natural on the skin. I don't know that I really appreciated this foundation enough when it first came out. I think when you're going through a time with your skin where you're really wanting full coverage and something you try is just medium coverage, it's going to probably fall in kind of a meh category. But if you're feeling open to a medium coverage, that's pretty nice. Now for concealer, I got out this one from Milani. It's the Conceal and Perfect. I have it in light nude, and I kind of felt like, compared to a couple of other front runner concealers from the drugstore now, like the e.l.f. Camo Concealer and that L'Oreal Infallible one that also has the oversized doe foot, the buck foot, I felt like this wasn't quite as much coverage as those. And after kind of making that assertion on things, I don't reach for this too much, but I thought now's the time. Maybe we'll try it again. So I'm not going to put too much on, but just in the areas where I need it. Little dots, a little brightening because this is lighter than the foundation was. Hit the nose, the chin. And I really do enjoy spreading out some of these liquidy concealers with a flat foundation brush. If I'm not using a beauty blender, I feel like you get the most like surface area bang for your buck out of them. Okay, super brightening. This is a really light concealer. I don't know, guys, what do you think? I feel pretty covered. If I'm looking really closely and being super critical about this, I can still see a little darkness, and I think that might just be the fact that this is not as good of a match as it should be. It's a little light, and I've talked before about how some concealers can merely lighten discolored areas, and you want to be a little closer to your discolored color in order to cover it up. So if this were a couple shades deeper, it might actually have covered that better, but kind of in exchange for it being a lighter shade, I'm very brightened up right now. I decided to grab out my Beauty Bakery Flower powder here. As I recall, I really enjoyed this stuff, but I have not reached for it that much. I just have this in the shade Translucent, so I've tapped a little into my cap there, and I'm just gonna pick up some somewhat lightly here on my small tapered brush and just dab this around to set the under eye. I really like what that's doing. That's almost helping a little bit. I'm really liking the way this is coming off on the skin for being such a light translucent powder. It's looking very non-makeup-y, but I think it's going to help my staying power in these areas where I'm really focusing it in. Frankly, I don't feel like I've been reaching for a ton of loose powders, period, lately. I think I've been going for certain pressed powders to get the job done. Clearly, I've got some that need to be getting used, like this, so happy with that. It still maintained my nice brightness that I had going on, like didn't deepen me whatsoever on the under eye, but I just feel, I don't feel dry, but I feel a little bit more like consistent, smoothed out texture. And I am really going for some staying power today because I want this look to hang on until evening when the open house is. Oh, I did find this powder, talk about underused. This is Laura Mercier's Candle Glow Sheer Perfecting Powder, and I have it in the shade 2, which really seems like a skin tone match type color, and when you swatch it, there's like the most gentle sheen to this. And I feel like maybe that might be kind of pretty all over the skin. Like, it's very soft. It kind of reminds me of that product from Milani. Oh, why is the name escaping me now? The Prep Set and Glow powder. It's kind of that tone and just that amount of slight luminosity, like very little, but it's kind of setting the rest of the face. Okay. Can't say I'm seeing a huge effect from it, but it's there. You saw it, it happened. Okay, I pulled out a little face palette here from Flower Beauty. This is the Lift and Sculpt Contouring Palette, and it says it's the medium to deep shade. It looks like just a real standard workable mix of colors. I'm gonna go into that bronzer shade. Woo! Soft powders. Warning, warning. And I'm gonna bronze myself up a little bit here around the hairline. So I didn't really vlog this past weekend. Really, Saturday got away from me. By the time I was like most of the way through the day, I realized I'd forgotten to pull out the camera about anything that was happening. But basically it was like last weekend, but less productivity. Less finished products to show for it. But we'd been dealing with a pool issue. We had a hole in the liner, a little hole toward the top, not like anything major, but where I think a raccoon clawed in it, but it was so high up that it wasn't, the pool wasn't like losing water through that hole. However, our pool guy found that there was a hole on the bottom of the liner as well. And bless his heart, he came out and he had his swim trunks on and his goggles, and he got down there and he patched that thing. And he's like, okay, we're fixed. And he patched the other little part too. And the pool has not lost water since. We could tell that this was an issue because we were losing water every day. And way more than just typical pool evaporation, you know? So needless to say, we are really glad to have that fixed. When you're having pool issues, it's kind of like having a sick kid. It's like you got to keep trying and trying to figure out what it is. And in fact, I do have a sick kid. Biddy has been, it was earlier in the week, she's been having kind of an ongoing cough that literally sometimes won't show up at all during the day, but only at night when she's finally like laying down and I guess the gunk is getting to her. It really wasn't affecting her attitude, her activity level, her eating habits at all, oddly. But one day I just decided, let's just get into the urgent care and let's just see what this is, because she had coughed quite a bit at night, the night before, and turns out she had bronchitis, or as they called it, bronchiolitis. So she's been on the mend from that for a few days. I think we're getting to the last day of medicine, yeah. So anyway, that's what I've been up to. Let's use this blush here. This looks, you know, it looks like a pretty light blush. Gosh, this powder just goes everywhere when you tap in. I feel like it's gonna show up with a, yeah, a little more color than I was thinking. It's pretty. I feel like it's pulling a little more peachy color on my skin than pink. Looks a little more pinky in the compact to me. Flower Beauty, kind of an underused brand, I feel like, for me. I feel like if it was more accessible, if it was still in my Walmart, I would probably just run into it more, be exposed to it more, and just grab at it more, but it is in my Ulta store. I just don't get there as much. And then the highlight looks kind of goldeny, again with the so much powder. Oh, that's pretty. Can't take anything away from that. That was nice. Yeah, very nice highlight there. I mean, it's reminding me a lot of the CoverGirl ones, that little CoverGirl trio of highlights I've raved on, the one called It's Lit. Very much that same texture, only this kicks up more powder. Overall, just looking at the way the skin has come together now, I'm very pleased. I've really had this takeaway the last few weeks that I can get by with a lot less coverage on my skin and be really satisfied with the look all over. And it's crazy how much this does remind me of the feel of sort of the finish on the skin and the coverage level of that Charlotte Tilbury one I liked so much. I'm gonna do a little bit of my Milani Make It Dewy setting spray, just in the spirit of, you know, we grabbed for the Pro Glow, but yet I can't quite let myself go super dewy because I do want good staying power. We'll just do a few mists of this. Oh, I forgot how good the smell was on that. Just give myself a slight bit more radiance there. For my brows, there was a period of time where I was really tearing through the brow pencils, the skinny pencils that I felt like I could use up pretty quickly anyway. I was just like going through them one after the next. At some point here, I'm gonna have a big empties to show for that, but I found one more that I guess I didn't continue that train with, and it doesn't have a whole lot left. It's from the Balm. It's called Ferocious, and I have it in dark brown. It's just your standard skinny pencil with the spoolie on the other end. And I thought, well, I'll just use this today and maybe it'll remind me to really work with this, because you know, ever since I've started with that Maybelline Tattoo Studio pomade, there's really been no looking back. I would love to know in the comments section, what kinds of videos do you want to see right now? I can tell you for sure I will have a haul or two coming up soon, because I've purchased like some new complexion products. I feel like we've kind of had a sea of new coverage products, foundation products coming out lately. And I've been interested in a few of those, so I thought I might do a haul of sort of what you can expect, what I'm gonna be testing there. But if there are any other kinds of videos that you'd really like to see, let me know. I've really been enjoying the content I'm putting out lately. I've been trying to dig deep and really think about a lot of different video ideas that aren't things I've seen over and over again. You know, maybe just some concepts that open your mind to something a little bit different. It gets increasingly harder to stand out and be different when there are so many people doing beauty YouTube videos these days. I kind of take comfort in the fact that I have my mind, you know? I get enjoyment out of thinking about new video ideas, coming up with something that I can really get excited about. I'm very grateful that, like, that's part of this whole YouTube thing that really makes me happy and really appeals to me, is just generating the ideas. Like, it's really been cool to see people go and repeat some of these ideas too with like the if I could only keep 5 makeup products thing. I've seen a lot of people doing that, and that's been awesome. So I filled in my brows with the Ferocious, and now I've got this Milk Kush Fiber Brow in this shade called Diesel. And the only thing that's kept me from really using this a whole lot is that this is so dang dark, and I have to be really careful taking it through, because I feel like if I go overboard, it can look like too much, or if I tap it on my skin, I'm like, ugh, it can get a little messy. It's kind of nice if you can really zone in on some hairs that you want to make stand out a bit more. Like, get that look of real hair going in your brows. It's kind of nice for that. But I just feel like I have to be so careful. I can't just whip it right through. Now for the eyes. Okay, I admit this is not a major dig in my collection, but I don't really have that many eye primers on hand. And this is the one from that Amazon video, top rated products on Amazon. Elizabeth Mott, Thank Me Later eyeshadow primer. I think of Elizabeth Moss every time I use this. Elizabeth Mott, Elizabeth Moss, Handmaid's Tale. Oh my gosh, into season 2. That was why I got into the blow pops last night, because I was like, oh my gosh, I cannot fall asleep. I need to see what happens during this episode. But anyway, this is a very popular product on Amazon, and when I did that video, a lot of people said in the comments they either liked this or a face primer that's from this line. So I've got that on all over. However, I have the comfort in knowing that it performs a lot like the Milani does. So for palettes, I went for something that I used to absolutely love and I have not used in the longest time. It's my Too Faced Just Peachy Mattes. I loved this palette, and yep, it's still got the scent. I just want to do a pretty matte look. I think subconsciously peach was getting to me because I went to a peach orchard yesterday and they had so many peaches. They had like, you get a peck or a half peck. We got a half peck of giant peaches and some salsa and stuff, and they were so dang good. But that's funny, I wasn't even thinking about the orchard when I gravitated toward my Just Peachy Mattes today. I'm gonna go for the fresh picked shade down here. We're just gonna get a little something going in the crease. I love the balance in this palette. I love how like the rich shades are so nice and kind of like 3 different directions. One's very cool brown, a deeper warm brown, and then something kind of plummy. And I just don't really feel like I've done an all matte look lately. I've been playing with some new palettes from LA Colors, and they are very like, there's a lot of shimmer in them. I'll probably review them sometime soon. But there's a lot of beauty and kind of near perfection. I don't know that you ever really achieve pure perfection, at least I don't. But there's just a really great put together quality to an all matte eye look, I think. Another great thing about this orchard we went to, it's called Flam if you're in Southern Illinois. They have the cutest little stand with all kinds of things. I think you could get peach ice cream or all kinds of different peach treats. We went with the cobbler with ice cream on top. It was so good, so good. I'll do a little peaches and cream right here and kind of let that blend. I used to use this matte peach color from CoverGirl all the time. I'm talking like way back in high school years. There was a matte peach and I would always use it to highlight with. Now I'm gonna go to peach butter right above. Then I'm gonna think about making my crease just a little bit richer and deeper. We originally put this shade there, and now I'm gonna go up to peach cobbler, which is what I ate yesterday. Oh, that is such a pretty shade in the outer corner. Who else has forgotten about this palette? Or do you still use it all the time? Too Faced does some really good mattes, I gotta say. Now I'm just gonna blend over that a little bit. And you know we're gonna work in some berry fun here. Maybe a little lightness first. Let's go to this really true peach right here, this very soft peach color called Just Peachy. And we'll just lay some of this down on the inner half of my lid. I like how it's lighter than what's in the crease, but still very much in this peach family. And then maybe around the inner corner we go to this lightest, seemingly lightest shade. I haven't used a lot of this color, Peach Meringue, and kind of let that brighten right there. Sometimes mattes can be really brightening. Like this is where I'd normally reach for a shimmer, but I'm like, ooh, okay. And then I want a little Peach Sangria. I love this color down here. Oh, it's so pretty. Just wait, just wait. Oh, you see that layering in there? Gosh. If I was using my Once palette, I'm getting sort of that sensation of when you combine Laugh Cry and Love Tons, you know? Stunning. I'm just patting, like, you know, there's no special strategy involved here. These aren't shimmers that require like a wet application on top of a glitter glue applied with your finger or whatnot. Like they're just standard great eyeshadows. And I want just like a little more depth coming out of my crease. Take my little like Morphe M506. Gonna go into Just Ripe, which is right here on this side. So a little bit deeper, less color punch sort of berry. And I'm just gonna like little circular motions, work that into the outer part of my crease and let it kind of fuse everything that's going on there. We've got our berry, our sangria shade, should I say, on the outer part of the lid. We've got our peach cobbler in the outer corner, and now it's all just kind of coming together. How pretty is this? Feeling called to blend again. It's a little bit around the outsides and maybe take just like maybe the Just Peachy shade. Just to give ourselves a little bit of like blending color right up in there. It's very subtle, but it's just giving all that depth something to come up into. That's just yummy to me, guys. I don't know any other way to put it. Lately, I've been kind of liking this light and bright, keeping everything focused above the eye type of look. Maybe I could just take a little bit of Just Ripe on a pencil brush. Just let it come down a tiny bit. Guys, I can't believe I'm in the 3rd trimester of pregnancy already. If you were watching my Instagram stories over the weekend, I got some of the cutest clothes from Target, little boy clothes. I caved, I went and got a little outfit, 3-month-old suspenders, you know. And then I think I'm gonna grab a pencil liner here. This is Urban Decay's Demolition. It's a nice dark brown, and I'm just going to sort of take this across my upper lash line. Try to keep it in nice and close so all my color I've applied gets to keep shining. And maybe even get up like underneath here, sort of that tight line area. So I have a ton of songs on my phone, and I've been going through and I've been trying to create like my ideal favorites playlist, because sometimes when you just put them all on shuffle, you're like, oh yeah, that song, I don't really care about that anymore. Like you just got a song because it was, you know, hot at the moment and you liked it for a little while, but it wasn't like an enduring favorite. Well, some songs are though. And there's always those few that I'm like hoping to hear if I put them on shuffle. And so I just finally made a like favorites playlist. I've got different playlists, like a pool playlist. I had my 4th of July jams playlist. I got different ones. And I just made one that's just my favorites. And sometimes when I'm up here and I'm not like shooting a video and I'm not listening to Wayne Dyer inspiration, or I'm not listening to someone else's video, I just turn that on and it's nice. It's so funny how you can immediately associate a certain song with a certain time of life. Like certain 90s songs that I remember like going to the pool, the community pool all the time and hearing, and it's like, bam, I'm taken back immediately. I got times that remind me of like when we moved down to Southern Illinois and, you know, around the start of YouTube and the start of working at the TV station. Songs right around the time each kid was born that I just like, oh my gosh, I'm so there. Music can really transport you, you know? Shopping my stash for a mascara. I have been pretty on top of my mascaras. I don't have a whole bunch that are like old or need to be tossed. Oh, and I want to have a bright lash line. I forgot that. I'm using my Wet n Wild. Sorry, no stash shopping there. That's nice. I'm letting myself go with It Cosmetics Superhero here because I want a nice lash look. I want the curl of my lashes to kind of last all day and get me through the evening. So let's just do that. And then I'm picturing kind of a nice, bright, shiny lip with this look because of the smooth matte eye. But in case you're wondering, I like all kinds of music. Oh gosh, did I get some? I think I got some on my lid. All right. If you were to listen to my playlist, you'd be hearing like some 80s stuff, some 90s stuff, some alternative, some country. It's pretty much all fair game to me. If it's just a sound that I can get into, like, I'm gonna like it. Oh, I wanted to let you guys know I have tried the new Blowout mascara from It Cosmetics. Now, it's still really new to me. Like, we're talking about a week of use. And I feel like it's a less intense version of Superhero, honestly. It just isn't lengthening out quite enough, and I don't know if it's just because it's so new, it's not really to the point where it's building on itself really well just yet, but it's got some good qualities. It seems to be separating kind of well and sort of thickening each lash up pretty nicely, but just not lengthening me out the same way Superhero does. This is what it looks like. It's a really cute little, like, did they actually collaborate with Dry Bar or just, I don't know, get inspired by them? I'm not sure. For lips now, I am not only gonna do products I haven't used in a while, but like a full-on technique that I haven't done in a while, which is like the big 3 of lip liner, lipstick, and lip gloss. I'm gonna do it all. And FYI, I'm trying to play off of like sort of the berry part of this eye look, and I want it to end up kind of shiny. I'm using this from Thrive. It says lip filler lip liner in Gislon. Let's refresh our memory on what this shade even is. I have really not used it in a while. Kind of dusty rose looking. Very just straight up mauve-y. This is going on so easily. And I had a little bit of balm already on my lips. I've been using this a lot, actually, my pineapple. Just like when I start my makeup routine, I throw it on. But it's times like this when I really realize, like, man, I've been going for more of like the one-step lip products, either kind of a stainy type thing. I've been using a lot of the L'Oreal stains lately, and different like glossy, balmy, kind of all-in-one type products. I've just not been going through the whole lip process very frequently. The lipstick that I pulled out is from Anastasia, and it's the Rum Punch Matte Lipstick. I seem to remember once upon a time buying a certain palette that I was interested in off their website, and I was like, oh, what about these matte lipsticks? I wonder what they're like. I know this is going to be a lot warmer than the lip liner shade was. You'll see, a little deeper, a little warmer. For being matte, it does have a nice little creaminess to it. I dig this shade. I love how that's playing with the little peachiness on the eyelid. Okay, there's that. And then just a little sheer shine on top of it. This is my Revlon Ultra HD in HD Pink Diamond. This might play with the color a little bit, I'm not sure. Lip topper, okay. There you go. I'm just gonna kind of blend it in with my finger a bit so my applicator doesn't get too compromised with this berry. Ultimately, all I wanted was a little bit of shine on top, and that's what it's giving me. I think if you really tried to keep this color confined, you might get a little bit of that lip topper, like real effect, but I didn't want anything crazy cool. By the way, I love these little clips that I got from Amazon. I got a full set, and then when I saw Kristen, I gave her a whole set of them. In my multi-pack, there were kind of all different colors and patterns, but I really like this one because it sort of camouflages into my hair a little bit, but it's so nice and big, and it just gets a huge chunk of hair kind of out of my way. So guys, I'm feeling pretty great about this Shop My Stash look, actually. I do really feel like I pulled out a lot of things that I had a genuine interest in. I would say the things that have me most fired up, I really want to be using this primer more because it does work so beautifully under not just Bare Minerals stuff, but a lot of different things. This foundation, so similar to what I was loving from the Charlotte Tilbury line, but I mean, I kind of forgotten about it. I'm still feeling like not super wowed by the Milani concealer. I've just got so many good concealers right now, but this powder, want to be using that more, and also my Just Peachy Mattes. Love. What a great time of year to be getting into it. It's like an August palette, right? Summer into fall, these kinds of tones are so pretty, and it really meshed well with the lip color. This flower palette, while I don't dislike it, the texture is incredibly powdery. I actually feel like CoverGirl has some trio products that are kind of similar to this, not just the one that's 100% highlight, but I know they have some blush, bronzer, highlight things that just don't kick up quite as much product. When your brush goes into them, you don't have to be quite as careful that way, but they're still really pigmented on the skin. So just something to think about. But yeah, let me know what you've shopped your stash for lately. What products have you been rediscovering? I'd love to hear, and I will talk to you guys again soon. Bye.